I've gathered together the very latest and greatest electric cars, and I'm going to drive them at the motorway to see how far they'll go before they conk out, and exactly what happens when they do run out of battery. Push hard, 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 hard.
5 feet within the charger. Like the middle of nowhere, next to a cemetery.
Which car is going to win? So let me tell you about the cars I've got. This is the brand new updated Porsche Taycan. It has a battery capacity of this and a claimed range of that. Oh, look, it's the new Tesla Model 3. It has a battery capacity of this and a range of that. Here we have the new BMW i5. It has a battery capacity of this and a claimed range of that. And I wonder if this little carbon fibre bootlet spoiler will help it achieve that range. Next up, the BYD Seal. Ow, ow. Sorry, I can't help myself. Anyway, it has a battery capacity of that and a range of that. And it does look rather like the Tesla Model 3. New Polestar 2 long range, battery capacity of this and a range of that. Finally, we have the Mercedes EQE 300. It has a battery capacity of this and a claimed range of that. Now, I wonder if Mercedes' decision to sacrifice the car's looks in the interest of aerodynamics has paid off. Let's find out. We are beginning at Chilwell Valley Services. We're going to drive north and see how far we can go. Can we get all the way into Scotland and maybe even Edinburgh? There is a little bit of added jeopardy because we've noticed on the news there's a severe weather warning with loads of torrential rain en route up north, so that could affect things. I don't want to be running out of battery and having to push the car in pouring down rain. Push hard, 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 hard. Wouldn't be ideal. Now, we've zeroed all the car's trick computers. They have 100% of battery. Let's do this. Right then, we're on the road. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of rules of engagement. So we're going to drive these like normal people would drive their cars. So we're going to drive at the speed limit. We are going to have the ventilation and heating on as we want it. We are going to drive in normal mode. However, when we get to a point that the batteries are depleting and we've got warning signs, we're going to do what any normal person would do. We are going to reduce the speed and go into eco mode to eke out as much range as possible, to give a real world example of what you're going to get if you drive these cars in terms of actual range. After all, what is the point of buying an electric car driving along in eco mode all the time with the heater off and at 50 miles an hour everywhere? Also, to make things fair, I'm going to do a stint in every single car so I can review it for you, and I'm going to start off with this BYD Seal. So it starts at just under £46,000. There you can save an average of this much on CarWow. To drive, it's actually quite comfortable. It's reasonably quiet. The performance is all right. So 0 to 62 miles an hour, 6 seconds, 312 horsepower, which is quite respectable from a rear drive motor. And actually the handling, it doesn't feel the most tied down accurate car, but it has a pleasantness about it. I do like driving it. Apart from one thing, when you're going slowly in town speeds, the brakes are like an on-off switch. You just brush them and you headbutt in the steering wheel. Now. Terrible. That is annoying. I'll tell you what's not annoying though, having full screen Android Auto with beautiful, glorious Google Maps. I've not been in any other car that does Android Auto so well. That is absolutely blooming brilliant. I also quite like the interior, you know, the materials are pretty nice. The seating position is fine. There are some kind of weird things going on down here, like a bit overly designed with these bits. Oh look, my windows are starting to steam up, so I am going to demist. So I'll swipe up like that, hit that. It's not the easiest thing to do while driving. Oh, up, piss. This is, I'm not enjoying this. Well, I'm going to use this button down here instead. Physical buttons for the win. Right, let's get this map in full again. Fall! Fall! Oh, up. Oh. Someone's kindly let me out. Oh, that was absolute chaos. Too busy looking down there to deal with the bloody heater system because it's slightly hidden when you've got Android Auto on. Actually, it's not as good as I thought. Some of the user friendliness isn't quite there on this car. I want that vent angled at this window. I don't think I can look while driving. Why can't I just have a little knob I can twiddle? That is just utter bollocks. There should be a law against this. But it's okay though, because I really like the graphics down there, so I don't mind. That is just pointing right at my bollocks. Now we're going to do our first range check-in. So we've covered 17 miles. I've got 95% of battery remaining. The car saying it's doing 24.4 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which is actually 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. My remaining range is 339 miles. Hey BMW, what is your remaining battery, your remaining range, and your average energy consumption?
I'm currently on 91% battery, 241 miles, and I'm doing 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour.
That's Let's move on to the Mercedes.
323 miles, although it also has a maximum range of 346 miles, 93% battery left, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
How about the Tesla?
I'm on 93% battery remaining. It's saying I'm going to do 318 more miles, and I'm currently doing 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour.
Polestar?
3.8 miles per kilowatt, 320 miles, and 94% battery strength left.
And finally then, the Porsche Taycan with its new clever battery.
New clever battery has 94% of its charge remaining, 346 miles of expected range, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
So then it appears that the German cars are the least efficient at the moment, and the Tesla is the most efficient, though this isn't far behind. While we stopped, I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about the practicality of this BYD. So here in the back, I absolutely love these seats. They're very spacious, comfy, nicely reclined, expensive feeling leather. Headroom, it's okay. People over 6 foot will just about have enough headroom. Love the glass roof. The only thing I don't like is that there isn't much of a distance between the floor and the seat, so your legs are quite high, and you can't slide your feet under the chair in front, so you're always not as comfortable as you could be. Other than that though, it's really practical. Lots of storage bits, especially for your mobile phone there, and decent sized door bins. The BYD's boot capacity is 400 litres, which is the smallest of all these cars I've got here today. Still an okay size, but to give you some perspective, we're going to see how many big men we can fit in it. Okay, let's try the first big man. Can you fit in there? Big man? Big man. Right, so that's one big man. Let's try one more big man. This might get a little bit fruity. Top to tail. Right, I'm sorry about this. I'm going to see if we can fit you in there as well. That'd be amazing. Get your head in. Right here, right here, right here. Let's see if it shuts. Oh my goodness, it shuts. That's actually more practical than I thought it would be. Now that is real consumer testing. Finally then, I just want to talk about the design of the BYD. I do really like it. There's something Tesla-y about it, though I think it's more interesting to look at. The only thing that I find annoying is the totally fake rear diffuser, which is trying to make this thing look like a supercar. Anyway, I'm going to jump into another car now, but before I do, I want to show you something that's a bit annoying. So this service station has just one electric car charger, 2 connections, but they're different types of connections. It can only do one car at once, which wouldn't be very good for our 6-car convoy now, would it? Also, someone was just parked up here trying to charge their car. It was only putting out 45 kilowatts, then it cut, so she just gave up and drove off. Electric car charging infrastructure in the UK for the win, yay! I've now jumped into the BMW. While that BYD was quite nice, this feels more expensive. Well, I say it generally feels quite expensive in here. That is horrible. Bit of a problem I've had though. While we have beautiful widescreen here for our phone connectivity, you might notice that this is actually Apple CarPlay. This BMW would not connect to my Android phone. Weird. It's nice being in this. It feels very sophisticated to drive. The suspension is really well judged, nice and comfortable. Quieter than that BYD. I mean, it's a BMW, right? They know how to make cars that drive nicely. This one has a single motor driving the rear wheels. It's got 340 horsepower, 0 to 62 miles an hour in around 6 seconds. Thing is, you do have to pay for the privilege. This particular model starts from £68,000, but this car with options, £93,000. I'm sorry, but I'm not feeling 93 grand right here. What is going on with car prices? Electric car prices in particular. Particularly like one of these options here, which is like these crystal bits, because this, it's like a fidget spinner. When you're on a long, boring journey like I am now, helps pass the time. Now we're going to do a range check-in. So this BMW currently has 79% of its battery remaining, 214 miles, and I've been averaging 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. What is the BYD doing?
85% battery remaining, 301 miles, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
Nick, what have you been doing? Because when I was driving it was over 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Well, this BYD is a little bit awkward, so it doesn't show you the average energy consumption over your whole trip distance, just the most recent 50 miles. So it's only analysing the fast motorway bit.
What a very clear and concise and considered explanation. How about the Mercedes?
So the Mercedes has 85% of its battery remaining, 296 miles of range left, along with their maximum range of 317 miles, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
Tesla, give us your stats.
84% battery remaining, 286 miles, 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour.
There's one car at the moment that's clearly the most efficient. How about the Polestar?
83% remaining, 280 mile range, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
And finally then, the Taycan.
Got 86% battery left, 314 miles, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
This car is very comfy and spacious in the back seat, so headroom is good even for people over 6 foot. These seats are really nice and deep, comfy. The back's nicely reclined. There's plenty of foot space. You can stretch out underneath the seat in front. Good view out these windows. It is the best car on test in terms of rear seat space. The only problem is this. If you want to carry 3 in the back at once, you do have this big transmission tunnel to straddle. Reason being that this platform is actually also used for an internal combustion engine car, the normal 5 Series. But still, this is the car I'd like to go the furthest distance in the back of. The BMW's boot capacity is 490 litres, so almost 20% larger than the BYD Seals. It also has a bigger opening. So let's test it with the men again. Get in, men. Remember, we fit 2 men in the BYD. Nick is claustrophobic, so he's not enjoying this. Go on, go for a bit of 69, Will. Oh, it's a shame. That doesn't look as bad. I'm just gonna help you out, Will. Oh, I don't know actually. You ready? Watch your fingers. Is there room for any more in there? Quick fart in there while I shut it. Right, I'm gonna release them. So they fit, and I think, was that less awful than the BYD?
You hit my knee.
It's got another one, you're fine. Was that less awful than the BYD, Nick?
Yeah, marginally.
Do you want to get out now?
There's a light, so I don't
Okay,
feel like
well, let's get out. Okay. Before we move on, I'm just going to praise the BMW's design. Now, when I first saw it, I quite liked it, whereas usually with new BMWs, I don't like them, then I grow to like them, and the opposite's happened here because I've gone off it. I think it looks a bit meh. That's all I have to say on the matter. This is Leicester Forest East, welcome break. You're not welcome if you're in an electric car that needs charging. You can actually go yourself because charging points are covered up. It was actually like this last time we did a range test at the services. That was over a year ago. Reason being, these charging points were drawing too much power or something from the service station, so they couldn't use them. I mean, I've got to tell you, it's a complete and utter joke, really, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to jump into another car. I'm going to get going. This pisses me off. I've now jumped into the Mercedes. First thing to note, I had no problem pairing my phone. It did it straight away. I do prefer the infotainment system on this Mercedes, to tell you the truth. Once again, we don't have physical controls for the climate, but it is just better placed and bigger and easier to use. I also prefer the digital driver's display than the BMW's. It's just less confusing. The price of this car for the EQE 300, which is the entry-level model, almost £69,000. Now, to make things a little bit confusing, this car is no longer available to buy. It's been replaced by a new entry-level car, which is the 350 Plus, which will have about 50 miles extra range. I'm not driving it because Mercedes don't have any on their press fleet yet, but the way it drives should be very, very similar. At this price, there are no options on the car. You just get it as is with all the kit that you see here, so it's not super expensive like that BMW. One thing you don't have though is adaptive dampers, so you've got normal steel springs. The ride is actually quite good. Not quite as good as the BMW, but I think the main reason for that is that this car weighs in at a colossal 2.5 tons, and that affects the performance. You've got 245 horsepower from a single rear drive motor. Combine that with the car's weight, 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 7.3 seconds. You know, it's not slow, but it's not particularly quick. Not as quick as you'd expect from an electric car. Now, one thing I'm noticing driving this along compared to the BMW is that it's noticeably less road noise. That was one thing that did let the BMW down. Having having this aerodynamic shape, which looks pretty blooming ugly, does work in terms of interior comfort. Speaking of the interior, I do like the design, that it's wraparound effect, and I like some of the materials like this. Now you can get this car with this thing called a hyper screen, which basically spreads across the entire dash. That looks kind of cool, but without it, that just looks a bit nasty, which they've tried to detail a bit with Mercedes stars. Some places the quality is a little bit shonky, like here and down here. At least the indicator doesn't feel so cheap as in the BMW. What's not all right though is the visibility out the back window. It is rubbish. One of the things I like about this car is that you can alter the amount of regen effect by using these pedals. Strong, pop it all the other way up, so it'll just coast, which is actually the most efficient. Or you can pull up on the pedal to go into auto mode, where it will sense how far you are from the car in front and then increase the recuperation if you're close to it. But if you're not, then it'll just let you roll for maximum efficiency. But it has just revealed one thing to me, and it's these pedals. Did they melt down a load of toys that came out of their Christmas crackers to make this horrendous, cheap feeling bits of plastic which you are actually touching with your hands? What? That's an accountant's decision right there. Bloody awful. Okay, let's do a range check. So I've got 79% of my battery left. That's good for a range of between 280 miles and 300 miles. I'm averaging 248 watt hours per mile, which works out to 4 miles per kilowatt hour, which is okay. What's the honking Seal doing?
77% of my battery remaining.
275 miles of range, 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour, so it's getting better.
Sounds like he's actually going out of range. BMW, please.
71% of my battery left. 205 miles, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
Tesla.
77% battery remaining, 264 miles, 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
What is Tesla's secret? Polestar 2, please.
76%, 260 mile range, 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
What's the Taycan saying?
81% of its battery left, 297 miles of range, 4.0 miles per kilowatt hour.
The cars, as we're going along, are becoming a little bit more efficient, but that Tesla is definitely streaking ahead, unless it's lying. We'll find out later. Here in the back of the Mercedes, you've got good knee room. Headroom is tighter than in the BMW. People over 6 foot will just have their hair brushing the roof lining. Now, part of the reason for that is that the seats in the back are quite high, which gives you like a sort of theatre style seating, so you get a decent view forward and you have good under thigh support. I like that. Bit of a shame these backrests feel a little bit too upright there, so I don't feel quite as comfy as I did in the BMW. However, practicality is good. You've got big door bins front and back. And overall, I could go a decent distance in the back of this car. The EQE's big capacity, it's 430 litres, a bit smaller than the BMWs. I like how you open the boot though, with the badge. Anyhow, litres, schmeters, what we need to see is what it's like for 2 big men, or maybe even 3. Let's find out. Can we fit 3 in? Go on, Nick. Looks like there's a bit more of a bootlet for him to get over. It's a bit awkward. And the opening isn't quite so wide. Finally, he's going in for the 69. Oh no, he's turned round. It's the human centipede. I'm not sure this is going to shut. Scream if it hurts. Actually, it did. All right, it shut. But let's get the verdict from the guys. Was that better or worse than the BMW?
It was less painful.
But is that because you just reordered yourself? Yes. Go. You need to do. Listen, you got to do it consistent. Go around the other way. Right, here we go. It does shut, but let's find the verdict. Okay, how was that compared to the BMW?
Less painful.
So, the capacity might be slightly less, but it's a bit more of a useful shape for carrying 2 big men. Do you need a hand out?
No.
Quick charger check-in at Trail Services. So we've actually got 5 charging slots here. 1 charging slot there, they're just 2 different kind of connectors. 2 here, and then we've got the real slow ones here, the AC chargers. But it's the best we've seen yet. I'm not a huge fan of the Mercedes EQE's design. It's the least attractive car here. In fact, it's like a big suppository. Now I'm in the Tesla Model 3. First thing to note, couldn't pair my phone with it at all. You're not allowed to. Tesla doesn't do any kind of phone integration. You have to use their system, but actually their system is pretty blooming good, and it's integrated with the whole charging, so if you're planning in route, it'll figure out exactly the best places for you to stop and charge to minimize your time spent charging. Now, compared to the Germans I've just driven, it's not quite as comfy and not quite as quiet. However, due to changes Tesla have made to this car, it is more comfy and and quieter than the previous Model 3, and it's perfectly acceptable. One thing I noticed about this car compared to all the others I've driven is just how sporty it feels. This is the dual motor version. You can get a single motor version with rear wheel drive. That starts from just under £40,000. This dual motor long range, just under £50,000. The steering is quick. You turn the wheel and it's like almost hypersensitive. Some people might find it too hypersensitive, but it does give the car a sporty feel, a bit like go-karty and edgy. One of the things I really love about the Tesla, really low dash, great view out. The view out the back window is good as well. These pillars are huge, but other than that, I love the driving position. I like the design, the minimalist look. And everyone goes on and slags off Tesla's quality, but do you know what? To me, in here, the materials feel easily good enough. And that of the BMW and the Mercedes aren't leagues ahead, considering they are leagues ahead in terms of their prices. There are a few things that drive me blooming crazy though. I absolutely hate the indicators on the steering wheel. They are rubbish. I also do not like the fact that your speedo is there, so you're constantly having to look across. With all this space in the dash, why don't they give this car a heads-up display? It would be perfect then. Another problem is you have to do pretty much everything through this screen. That is the trade-off of having such a minimalist cabin. Now you can operate quite a lot of it with voice commands, but I never tend to. It just doesn't seem natural. And if you want to go into the climate control, you have to press that little button there to get it up, and then you can do all the Fango Auto. And like with the BYD, you have to move the vents around on the screen, but it actually works on this car, thank God, so it's just easier. Anyway, let's check out the efficiency. So we're doing 208 watt-hours per mile, which works out to 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour. 70% of the battery, 241 remaining miles, so quite a long way to go, and we're probably definitely going to head into that horrendous weather up north. Before then though, let's check out how the other guys are doing. The BYD Seal, please.
70% of my battery remaining, 248 miles, 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour.
The BMW, please.
62% of my battery remaining, 188 miles, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
Mercedes EQE.
72% of battery remaining, 265 miles of range, maximum range showing of 268 miles, 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Can I get the details on the Polestar, please?
68% now, 230 miles, 4.2 miles per kilowatt.
Finally then, Porsche Taycan.
74% battery, 276 miles, 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
Cars are actually quite closely matched. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Here in the back of the Tesla, there's decent knee room. Headroom's all right though, people over 6 foot will be fine. These seats are quite comfy. You've got this huge seat base, which would be good if the seat wasn't so close to the floor, so you don't really get the full benefit of it supporting your thighs, and you can't really stretch your feet out underneath the seats in front, though because the floor is completely flat, you can sort of do this thing, get your foot under there. So actually on a long journey it's pretty good, and I like the fact, look, we've got this screen in the back with the rear climate control, and yet again you have to move the ventage around using the screen, but it all works, which is good. On paper, the Tesla's boot is the largest, 594 litres. That does include some underfloor storage, which you can't test with our human volunteers. Jump in, men, though be warned, look, this is quite low, so you can your head off it, and I don't want you to hurt yourselves more than you have to. Go on, get in. The opening on this car isn't so wide, as you probably noticed there, as Nick just caught his shoulder. Well, if you can go in the standard way, so we keep it, you know, don't mix it up, but just keep it like your sex life, just nice and missionary. Oh, look where his head is. We've got a problem here with your, oh no, that's okay, that's okay. Right, okay, I'm just gonna shut it. You ready? Will it shut without me helping? Yeah, it did. Absolutely brilliant. Let's just get their verdict on that. What's that like compared to the other cars?
It's much worse. I've heard better.
However, we need to actually use the help of another member of the team now. Unlike the other cars we've tested so far, the Tesla is the first to have a front boot, and the capacity is 88 litres. But you're thinking, Matt, I can't visualise that. So come on then, Pete, get in. So Pete used to work at what car? Did he used to do these tests on what car?
All the time, mate.
They used to use suitcases. No, this is, we might decouple, no, this is not working, is it? No. But remember what it was like being in there, okay? Because we might need you again for the other cars that are coming up. Finally then, in terms of the design, Tesla has sharpened up the look with some new headlights, so it looks less like a fish. Overall, it's kind of generic, a bit safe, but inoffensive at the same time. So here at Welcome Break Woodall Services, we have 2 chargers which can do 3 cars. There's 1 car charging at the moment. No queues here, but we've also got 4 other charging slots, which I think are quite new because there's another 2 going in just down there. And once again, no queues really. So I think things are looking up. I'm now in the Polestar 2, so the range kicks off at £45,000, but this is the long range version with a bigger battery, so it starts from 49. This one with all the options is £56,000. It has a single rear mounted motor driving the back wheels with 300 horsepower, and 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 6.2 seconds. In terms of the car inside, it comes with this portrait screen and it runs Android, so you've got Google Maps and all that kind of stuff built in. You can connect your phone to it though and use Apple CarPlay, and apparently you can use Android Auto, though it is wired, not wireless. I tried to connect my phone, it didn't work, so I'm just using the car sat nav. In terms of the interior quality, I think it feels quite nice. I like the use of materials, I like the design, the different textures. You feel quite cocooned in your own space, and actually there seems to be quite a lot of dash, so it feels a bit smaller on the inside, a bit more closed in. In terms of the drive, I do find the suspensions firmer than all the cars I've driven so far. Steering, it's okay, but it doesn't feel quite as quick as in the Tesla or as sporty. In terms of the noise levels, not much road noise at all, but I am noticing more wind noise than in the Tesla. Now we're actually taking a diversion off the motorway because there's some terrible traffic, and that's one of the good things about having Google Maps. You can see it picks up the traffic issues, and we're on a diversion now. Anyway, one thing I've noticed, the brakes on this car feel a little bit more artificial than in the Tesla and the BMW and Mercedes, though it's still better than in that BYD where they're really grabby. Do you know what? It feels better, this updated version of the Polestar 2, because the single motor version used to be front wheel drive. This is now rear wheel drive. It's much better at accelerating out of bends. There's no loss of traction. Right, let's do a range check. I've got 58% of my battery left, 200 miles of range. Just geared up the trick computer for my efficiency. Oh no, I've just cleared it. It was saying 22.5 kilowatt hours per 100 miles, which is 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. And now I'm gonna have to move over onto this other side of the trick computer. It's only out by a small amount. It's like 0.2 of a kilowatt hour per 100 miles, which is nothing. Okay then, BYD, can you give me the details for your car, please?
I have 59% of my battery remaining, which works out at 208 miles of range, and the car is doing 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
BMW?
50% of my battery remaining, which is 161 miles, and I'm doing 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour.
Tesla?
59% battery, 203 miles remaining, 5 miles per kilowatt hour.
The Porsche?
65% of battery, 247 miles, 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
Mercedes?
62% of my battery remaining, 245 miles with a maximum of 249 miles, 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour.
The back seats of this Polestar feel the tightest by far, so knee room isn't great and I've got short legs. Headroom isn't great and I'm not the tallest. The backrest is quite upright. The foot space is cramped and there's a big hump in the floor, and I don't know why. This is supposed to be a built from the ground up electric car. What's all this about? You don't need that. It's a shame because like the quality back here is good, but it's just a bit cramped. Not sure about this actually. Is it mirrors the stitching on this like really wonking at an angle? It's making me feel slightly sick. No, that one's straight. Yeah, it's slightly off. Ugh. The Polestar 2 has a boot capacity of 470 litres, so that's 5 litres more than the BYD. Got a lot of underfloor storage, but obviously that is included in the capacity. Let's check out the practicality now though in real terms by getting our guys in. So this is a hatchback, so it's easier access. Nick, you should be able to get in there much easier.
Oh, it's a dream.
Yeah, look at that, look at you. Well, try and get in as well, get spooning. I think we should just pause for a moment and just look at this. Isn't this lovely? You'll need this leg somewhere else. Right, are you ready? No, Will's not, he's not very pleased about this. Yeah, it's shut. Okay. Okay, so this did come dislodged, but it's fine. What was that like compared to the others?
Very intimate.
So this wasn't the best? No. So far, which is the least bad?
EQE was alright.
Anyway, alright, and whatever. Let's check out the front boot because it's got one of those. Apparently, Pete, this is not so good. If you thought the last one was bad, this is 35 litres. Let's get these out. It's lined with carpet. The one in the Tesla was just plastic, so that should be a bit nicer. Just don't get the warning triangle up your... Worse than the Tesla?
Yeah, I'd have to say so.
That's proper motoring journalism right there. I'm just doing a quick check-in about the charging facilities. We're here at Ferrybridge Moto. There's a bunch of chargers on this side, more on the other side. There's a load of Tesla superchargers over there and some more chargers over there as well. This station is an example to all the other service stations of how it should be. Plenty of charging, no reason not to have an electric car when you've got this many chargers available. The last thing to talk about with the Polestar is the design. So it's fairly conventional, but I think in a good way. It's a smart looking car, I like it. Finally then, I've jumped into the Porsche Taycan. Porsche has updated this car with a new longer range battery. The entry-level vehicle starts from just under £87,000. This one with the extended battery is just under £91,000. £91,000 car and a dash that isn't leather. This doesn't feel any better than the materials in the Tesla. For your £91,000, you get the extended battery. You also get the lowest power output, a single motor rear axle, 408 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is quick but slow by Taycan terms. So in reality, the pickup's really good. You don't need to be going any quicker than this car. One thing that is clear with this though is just the feeling of the controls. The braking is strong and progressive, steering is responsive and it's got a nice feel to it. The suspension is taut but not uncomfortable. Also, a bit like the Tesla, the view forward's great, so you've got a lowish dash, Porsche-esque with those wings, a bit like a 911. View out the back window is rubbish though. You've got a fully digital display there, it's nice and clear. You've got your Porsche Classic dials, all the information you can want. Central screen as well. It's not the biggest. Some of the icons can be a bit of a faff, but I like the fact that it's easy to do the climate control, though once again it is just a touch screen and not physical buttons, so you do have to concentrate a bit more when you're looking down and pressing them. One of the annoying things about this car's climate control system though is no actual physical vent. Why? It's just too difficult. You just want to be able to reach to a knob and move it. Storage down here is not so great, but it's passable, and you've got a couple of cup holders there which sort of get in the way. Door bins are a decent size though, so it is reasonably practical here in the front. It feels the most expensive out of all the cars. When you compare it to the BMW, yes, that feels nice, expensive and damped. It's looking a little bit moody up ahead further north. It's going to be interesting to see how bad the rain gets. Hopefully not too bad, because it's still pretty gnarly up in Scotland, which is where this car could make it, because I've still got 52% of battery left, and that means 183 miles, and we're averaging 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. Okay, can I get a range check on the BYD Seal?
I have 40% of my battery remaining, 141 miles of expected range, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
I'm grimacing at that and the fact that it's starting to rain more heavily now. Okay, can I get the details on the BMW, please?
30% of my battery remaining, 91 miles of range, 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
How about the Tesla? How's that doing?
43% battery, 147 miles, 4.8 miles per kilowatt hour.
Mercedes, please?
47% battery remaining, 185 miles of range, maximum range apparently of 188 miles. I'm achieving 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
That is super interesting, because I thought this Porsche would be able to go further than the Mercedes, but it's going to be very close between these two cars. What about the Polestar?
41% remaining, 140 miles to go, 4.2 miles per kilowatt.
Well, hopefully this rain isn't going to get any worse, but I have a horrible feeling it is. We've stopped with almost 150 miles left in this Taycan. I thought I'd do a quick practicality test here in the rear. So, knee room, it's all right. Headroom's not great though. People over 6 foot are going to find it a struggle. They have these things called foot garages where they shape the footwell, the battery around the place so that you still have place for your feet, but it's still very tight in there. You can't really stretch out underneath the seat in front. And because of that design, you have like this lump in the floor there. This is the most claustrophobic of all the cars, just because it's so dark and miserable. At least the door bins are okay. The materials back here, I mean, that's a little bit cheap. When you think that the Tesla's got that screen, here in the Porsche, you get that. Part of that is down to the old Porsche tax, isn't it? The Taycan hasn't got a very big boot either, just 407 litres. Part of the problem is the way the wheel arches eat into the space. So this is going to be a struggle to see how many men we can fit in there. So go on, Nick, you go first. Good luck.
Oh, God, it's tight.
Things are just, yeah, sorry. Well, you got to think, be tactical about this. Yeah, get your head in first, then get your feet in there. Just this knee is the problem. Let's see if we can just shut that. No, okay, right. So just hop out a second, Will, if you can. You stay there because I think you're nicely positioned. Let's go for a slightly smaller adult male.
Right.
Might need some help. Oh bugger! Wait there, Pete. There we go. Right, so smaller but still practical enough to carry 2 men in there. The Taycan has a front boot as well. It's 84 litres, so slightly smaller than the Teslas, but is it more usable? So we need Pete again. Pete! Oh, he's stuck in the boot at the moment. So I'll do this one. See, I don't get people to do things I wouldn't do myself. Can I get in there? Look, actually, and let's see if we can shut this. Do you want to shut it? No. No, I can get in here quite comfortably. In terms of the front boot, I think this is actually the most usable. Last thing to talk about really is the design, and this is by far and away the best looking of the lot, and that's all you need to know really. I'm at Durham Services and it appears they're implementing some infrastructure here. So we've got 6 new charging places here, and they already have 1 over there, which was clearly not enough. There are a couple of AC slow chargers there, but it says these are only to be used by the people staying at the hotel. One of the great things about the new Taycan is that it gets
From the BMW, I just hit 23 miles of range left, 7% battery, and it's all gone yellow. Still doing 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
Let's do a range check then. So I have 32% of my battery left. That says a range of 106 miles. And I think it's about 106 miles to the centre of Edinburgh. I was hoping I can make it to the centre of Edinburgh, and I'm averaging 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Well, I hope I'm going to get to Edinburgh because the rain is getting worse. Okay then, BYD, what are your stats?
15% of my battery remaining, 53 miles of range, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
Can we get the details on the Tesla, please?
22% of battery, 74 miles of range, 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour.
What about the Mercedes?
26% of his battery left, maximum range 106 miles, 4 miles per kilowatt hour.
I'll tell you what then, me and you are going to central Edinburgh. It's going to be close between us two. Finally then, the Polestar.
17% left, 60 miles, 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour.
As I was saying before, the great thing about this new version of the Taycan is that you now get air suspension as standard. It improves the comfort, especially over longer distances.
On using the BMW, when I hit 5% battery, I had another warning saying I need to charge. I have 13 miles of range left. I'm still doing 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, but yeah, I don't want to be on the A1. It's too far to the next fast one, so I am going to come off at the one in about 11 miles. Basically drive on the back roads around there until I run out.
Okay, that seems like a sensible plan.
The first warning message in the BYD has just appeared as well. I've hit 10% of my battery. I've got a big orange plug logo and it says, please charge in time. In time for what? I have no idea, but I still have 34 miles remaining, so I'll keep going for a little while.
I don't know why that tickled me, but it did.
Right, I'm going to peel off. It's been emotional.
There we go, look, BMW disappearing off there. Goodbye. We'll be checking in with him later to see how far he actually managed to go.
Nick here in the BYD. My remaining range and the distance I need to go to get to a charger are very, very close now, so I'm going to take it a bit easy. I think you guys should overtake, and I'm just going to cruise my way home.
We'll see you later and see how far you actually go. Everything's happening at once. Got a call from Rory in the BMW. Hey Rory, you alright?
The car's finally conked out. I'm kind of on like a farm track off a country road in the middle of nowhere. No idea how far I am from a charger, but it's finally conked out at 296.3 miles.
How far did it go after it said you had no miles left?
15 miles, which I think, you know, if you do hit zero in the car, you have got that nice safety cushion there for you.
How did it actually come to a final standstill?
You got reduced power from about 5%, and then beyond 0% it was really quite reduced. And then I turned into this side road because it went down to about 10, and then I stopped to go around a pothole, and then it just died.
What was your average energy consumption over the whole journey?
It was 3.7, which has kind of been throughout the whole thing, so it is consistent at least.
I don't know what you're gonna do.
I can see a field livestock. The back seat of this car is looking very inviting right now.
I'll leave you to figure out a solution as we press on, because I think I'm going to get to Edinburgh and maybe even beyond. Hey Polestar, what's happening with you?
Down to 2%. Graphics have turned red, saying I've got 9 miles of range left, 4.0 miles per kilowatt hour. I know there's a charger 18 miles from here, so I'm going to just push on and see if I can get there, okay?
That is brave, that's gambling that is, I like that. Okay, do you know what, I'm going to come past the Polestar and we'll leave you to it as we zip off and you try and conserve some of your battery. Well, there we go, look, there's a sign. We've just made it across the border into Scotland. How far into Scotland though can we go? Oh, look, please monitor range. I've got loads left, 48 miles. That's a little bit nervous, isn't it? I'm actually going to switch my car into eco mode now because it's saying 44 miles. Edinburgh's 46 miles, and I really want to make it to the centre of Edinburgh. In fact, I'm going to try and get to my old flat that I used to live in when I was at university there. I wonder if I can make it. I think that's the Polestar turning off. Well, good luck, Polestar.
Update from the Mercedes. I've got 8% battery left, the symbol has turned yellow, and I've got a message saying reserve level, charge high voltage battery, 30 miles remaining.
Oh, I'm going to go further than you. I've got 38. Well, the weather's certainly closed in. Look at this horrendous fog. Oh, here we go. Look at this. The BYD. Hey, Nick, you all right?
Hi, Matt. I am dead. I am out. I have driven 309.7 miles in total. After it had 0 battery left, I managed about another 6 miles, I think, so not many at all.
What happened when it ran out?
So I was cruising behind a truck and then realised I couldn't keep up with the truck anymore, and then it got progressively slower and slower and slower, so I had to turn off the A road, found a country road, which thank goodness was downhill towards Berwick. I found a charger. I was circling a council estate around here and it was getting slower and slower and slower until I ran out next to a cemetery, which felt a bit morbid. It immediately put the parking brake on. I couldn't get the car into neutral. I couldn't take the handbrake off to push it. So I got out, locked it, waited 5 minutes, unlocked it, and it gave me just enough electrical energy to coast to the junction about 5-10 meters in front of me so I could cruise down the hill to the charger I'd planned to stop at. I had enough energy to drive into the car park and reverse up to the charger.
Oh, good work. There you go, everyone. If you've got an electric car and you run out, be at the top of the hill, not the bottom. I've got 10% left and 32 miles and 32 miles to my old flat in Edinburgh. Tesla, how are you doing?
2% battery, 6 miles of range. Still no warning yet though, but I am still going to come off at Dunbar.
When are you going to leave us?
Exactly 2 miles.
Oh look, charging station, range warning. I'm going to blooming ignore that. Go away, ignore, be off with you.
Well, it's been almost magical, but I am now going to depart from the motorway, and I suppose you guys should enjoy Edinburgh.
Well, I think I might. I'm not sure if the Mercedes is going to make it. Okay, here we go. Sign, please charge battery. I will at some point, but I've still got 5% remaining and 17 miles and 18 miles to my old flat in Edinburgh. This doesn't feel as fast as it did a moment ago. I think it's cut some of the power.
Okay, I'm struggling to get above this speed now. 2% battery, 6 miles. I don't think I've got long left.
That sounds so ominous.
Okay, I think this is me. Best of luck, I guess.
All the best. Yeah, look, there we go. Very small letters. Limited power. Just whisper it because I'm a Porsche and I don't want to admit to the fact I have limited power. 2% battery now, 7 miles of range, 7 miles to go. Oh look, we've got a little tortoise. When I press accelerate, it's not even blue, it's red now. That is really reduced performance, very un-Porsche-like. Now I've got a battery sign down here as well. The warnings are increasing. 4 miles, 3.5 to the flat. Oh look, it's a 20 mile an hour limit, an excuse to go slowly, and I'm being called.
Hello. The Tesla has finally died. It did 352 miles.
Ooh, that's pretty good. How many miles did it do after it said it had no battery left?
It did a further 23 miles.
Wow, that is a lot.
So it basically said vehicle shutting down. I then got within 5 feet of the charger and it stopped, and unfortunately it put itself in park. It also came up with a message saying the low voltage battery for the car is on 39%. All the electronic doors are starting to not work.
If only you had a longer cable, Tommy.
It's literally 5 feet within the charger.
And you can't even push it. Oh no, what a nightmare. Anyway, I'm concentrating on driving now because I'm right on 1% of battery. I'm getting close to the destination I'm aiming to get to. So I'll speak to you later.
All right, good luck.
No battery, no miles, and we've got 1.1 miles to go to my old flat. Oh no, we've just got this warning. Battery charge critical. Driving performance limited. Park vehicle safely. I'm going to see if I can get to my flat Okay, my flat is just around the corner. I think I might just make it. Here it is, just up here. So this is the way in. It was actually brand new when I moved in. That's the kitchen. And this was my bedroom window there. It's quite handy having it on the ground floor because I remember when the TV license people came round to check for the fact that we didn't have a TV license and to see if we had a TV, I was able to take my TV out that window, hand it to my mate, who then took it off in his car around to his house. Let's get back in the car and I'm going to take you to some other sites in Edinburgh and we'll see how many we can go to before I finally conk out. Hello?
Oh, hi, Matt. I have broken down. I've run out of juice completely. The car has died. So effectively what happened was it went into low power mode and it gradually lost speed.
How many miles has it done in total?
I'm afraid I can't see that. Everything is black.
Oh dear. This is the number on the screen right now. Okay, that's what it is. How long were you driving when it was on zero battery, do you think?
25 minutes, you know?
How far are you from a charger?
250 yards.
Anyway, I'll leave you to it. I'm basically out of charge as well, but I think I can eke a few more miles. So I'll speak to you later. I've lost all power and I'm basically just coasting down this hill. Well, I wish I'd not left there. I'm going to bail and this is going to be annoying for the person who lives here, but I am going to have to just stop here. Hello, I've come to visit. Oh no, it moves. This is an error of all judgments. It's allowing me to manoeuvre. So let's go back from where I came. Yeah, oh no, why have I done that? Why did I move? What an absolute tool bag. I've really made the drasticest error of all errors. Bollocks. Why did I do that? Can you guys get out and push? Yeah, I'm in neutral, go. Hello, I'm coming back to say hi again. Push hard, 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 hard. Go on. I think we're all right there. We're off the road. Right, what I've got to do now is just contact the breakdown services. So I'm going to call the RAC and they will come out and rescue me because they can deal with stricken electric vehicles. They can either charge me up, which they're going to need to do, or they can tow me. I think I might just have a bit of charge and then drive to the nearest charging point. Oh wait, look, got a call from Will in the Mercedes. Hey Will, how are you?
I am officially done.
I am as well, so this is going to be really interesting because we've basically run out about the same time. I am going to reveal my mileage, 367.5 miles. What you got?
I had a total of 357 miles.
Whoa, so I did 10 miles more. Interestingly, this car only did 1.5 miles once it said it had no battery remaining.
I still had a couple of miles range left, so I ventured into the town, all downhill. So I then had to come back up the hill. I spent the last 30 minutes circling this retail park. The car eventually lost all power. It went into neutral, froze, wouldn't let me move it, turned it off and on again. It gave me back drive and limped to the charger.
See you soon, and wow, what an experience. Right, so the RAC's here and he's going to charge us up. So what can you charge me up at? What rate?
About 7.
No, that'll be good. Oh, just long enough. Error, charging is not currently possible. Looks like these people might have a new Porsche Taycan as a permanent feature on their driveway. Try your cable. Come on, go green. Yes, we're charging. Cable issues. After 30 minutes, the RAC had charged the Taycan enough to drive to a fast charger. There we are, 145 kilowatts. We are done. Anyway, so that's this done. We made it. All is well. So what I'm going to do now is talk you through exactly how each of our cars performed in terms of efficiency and their range. The car that went the shortest distance was the BMW. It managed 296 miles before it ran out of electricity. That's 82% of its claimed range. Its energy consumption during the trip worked out to 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, which was actually the least efficient in this test. Next was the BYD. This car did 310 miles on a full charge, which is 87% of its claimed range. The Seal's efficiency came to 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. In fourth place was the Polestar. It managed 332 miles on a full charge before it ran out. That's 82% of its claimed range, which is similar to the BMW. However, it used its energy more efficiently and averaged 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is better than both the BMW and the BYD. In third place was the Tesla. It did 352 miles on a full charge, which is 90% of its claimed range, and it had the best overall efficiency rating, achieving 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour used. Meanwhile, the Mercedes EQE actually went the second furthest out of all the cars on test, achieving 357 miles of range before it ran out of battery. That's an impressive 94% of what Mercedes claims it will do, making it the best in this regard out of all the cars on test. Its energy efficiency was also pretty decent at 4 miles per kilowatt hour. The car which managed to go the furthest overall though on a full battery was the new Porsche Taycan. It did 368 miles before I sort of got stranded in it and needed to be rescued. That works out to 88% of its claimed range. However, the Taycan does have the largest battery, and as a result its overall efficiency wasn't quite so impressive. It averaged 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour over the test, which is actually the same as the BYD and not much better than the BMW. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, it really helps us out. If you click on the video windows, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on the CarWow logo, you can go to CarWow to see how much money you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.